AEW continued a strong streak of shows with the April 30th edition of Dynamite. The last semi-finals of the Owen Hart tournament was certain to be spectacular, with Hangman Page and Carl Fletcher battling out for the win. Tony Storm faced Mayu Yamashita in a championship eliminator match, as well as much more. And we started things off with an all-star 8-man tag on a wild 25-minute battle. Saw Kenny Omega take out the Young Bucks, but Ricochet tripped Mark Briscoe and set him up with a Rainmaker, allowing Okada to get the win. This was pure joy in a wrestling form. These all-star matches are quality. AEW has enough talent to deliver contests like this every week for the foreseeable as well. This was about the highest quality type of match that you can deliver thanks to the athletes involved. The Elite were having a blast, reminding everyone that he can do. Omega worked the heavy part of the bout, taking big bumps and getting isolated, so it's great to see him do that. After his injury, this one could have gone either way, but it was best to give the Elite the victory for their return. It sells the difficulty of finding a group that can take the Young Bucks and Okada down. This is the first big loss for the Elite following a return since the attack by Swerve, who was not involved on Wednesday to protect him for that future in-ring collision. Speedball, Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight took another loss, but they've proved to be more than valuable long-term signings. So yeah, personally I'm not too fussed at this stage. So yeah, this is great stuff. 8 out of 10. Next up on Dynamite, it was the Ops versus Nick Comoroto, Rhett Titus and Miles Hawkins. Joe and Shibata got in some reps against their competition, but once the Ops decided to pull this away, Hobbs destroyed Hawkins to win. The Death Riders struck awkward, and after Castagnoli hit Shibata with a neutralizer on a steel chair just like Hook, the Samoan Submission Machine grabbed the microphone after the Death Riders ran off and challenged the world champ to raise the stakes for their contest, battling the steel cage. It's not necessary for the Trios champions to fight a squash match, and this has to often been a part for the Ops. Even though Comoroto got to look solid in exchange with Shibata, this was a full-on squash. The only difference was that Hobbs worked the hook roller of past Ops squashes. In particular, he was dominant final man to pick up the victory. The better part of this segment was the aftermath. The Death Rider continued to menace Ops, trying to get some measure of revenge against the group, taking out Shibata in a similar style to Hook, and signals that the Handsome Devil's absence will not be ignored. It should be interesting to see where he fits in when he returns. Meanwhile, AEW's raised the stakes again for a Moxley v Joe match, which will be must see. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one as well. So yeah, on the whole, it's a squash match compared to other stuff on the show. I'll give it 5 out of 10, but an intriguing developments, I'd say. We then got a championship eliminator, Tony Storm taking on Yamashita, and Storm held on against the best strikes of Yamashita and fought back with a hip attack and Storm 0 to win. Monet interrupted the celebration and called her shot at the world champion. Jamie Hayter came out and sent the CO running after a forearm strike. Championship eliminators are often predictable, but Excalibur teasing Yamashita is just one of 3 wins to ever win, one sold the possibility of an upset. This competitive, hard-hitting selling why Yamashita is often considered in spots like this. She has the talent to help elevate a growing roster, even if she's only on loan from Toki Joshi. In the end, the timeless one survived, despite reaching some serious spots and the physical strikes of her challenger. It would have been nice to see Storm give a challenger while she waits for the Foundation tournament, and there's still time for her to lose an elimination match at the rate she's working. Either Hayter or Monet would be worthy opponents for Storm at All In, but after 2.5 months away from the event, Storm should defend her title at least once before July the 12th. It would be a waste of a stacked division if she didn't. So yeah, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. MVP and Shelton Benjamin then gave MJF their thumbs up again, but Bobby Lashley again refused entry into the group. In frustration, Salt the Earth mocked the old Marty and choked out for it in the corner. Lashley told MJF that he had to prove himself by hurting someone. The story's running on neutral, but it was good to see things get more serious. Lashley got vicious with MJF and showed him that he simply can't talk his way to success. This moment helps immediately in finally pushing MJF to see what he needs to do to succeed, and by selling MJF and Lashley will eventually need to fight. The Salt of the Earth has never been good at forgetting, and the Almighty will watch him like a hawk when he joins. The best part of all of this will be the rivalry that comes down the line once it's all kind of fallen apart. Before we got the ROH TV Championship match, Nick Wayne against Jay Lethal, and Wayne mostly dominated Lethal throughout the match and winning with a Crucifix Fisherman Buster. This felt like a contest that should have been better on paper. Wayne v Lethal is an athletic showcase that could have popped the crowd more. Instead, despite neither man working it like a complete crush, it never felt like Lethal had a chance. So this was fine a way to solidify the Prodigy's new reign for AEW and ahead of moving to the Best of Super Juniors New Japan tournament. The story of Wayne also realising he's done with the patriarchy is great, and it's to help develop him. It was an odd choice to give him the TV title at the time though, as ROH is supposed to be developing momentum on their own show heading towards Super Card of Honor. So yeah, for those downsides, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Before we got Carl Fletcher against Hangman Page in the Owen Hart tournament, and Hangman survived the best shots of Fletcher throughout and hit buckshot lariat out of the corner, followed by a traditional one off the apron. And yeah, these two work seamlessly together on point time and time again. It's a battle that lived up to its billing. Fletcher has consistently delivered some of the best matches of 2025, and Hangman, who looked especially on point Wednesday night, he found a flow chemistry with Fletcher that could rival his feud with Swerve. The Cowboy needs to win this. Ospreay v Fletcher it's one of the best feuds in AEW, but they fought too recently on pay-per-view. This was a chance for AEW's biggest matches, and all signs towards Hangman v Ospreay being the match tonight at Double or Nothing. The goal on next month will be to sell the gravity of the contest. These are two of the most beloved men in the company. The winner should dethrone Moxley. This gets an 8 out of 10. And overall, Dynamite this week gets a 7 out of 10 for me. Yeah, it really feels like Dynamite's on a hot streak at the moment. So many great matches. Brilliant main event, and yeah, I think the card for Double or Nothing is really getting interesting now. So yeah, this is great stuff overall. Really enjoyed it and gets a 7 out of 10 for me. Guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.